All right, let's talk about something most homeowners dread, getting that quote for a new roof. You open it up and wow, that sticker shock is real, right? It's easily one of the biggest checks you'll ever write for your house. But what if you knew exactly what was behind that big number? Well, that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive in and decode this thing. I mean, this is the $1 million question, isn't it? Or, well, the 10, 20, $30,000 question. Why is it so darn expensive? It feels like the price is always changing. And you know what? You're not imagining things. It's a total moving target, and it's being pushed around by forces you probably haven't even thought about. So, that's our mission here. We're going to pull back the curtain, break down all the confusing parts, and really demystify the whole process. By the end of this, you're going to have a clear playbook to help you make a smart, confident decision for your home. Okay, to really get this, we have to start with the big picture. Think of it like a giant puzzle. Before a single roofer even shows up at your house, there are these huge global forces at play that are already setting the price. Let's look at what they are. Just look at how wild this market has been recently. You can see it right here. Back in 2024, prices were getting squeezed hard by supply chain problems and high material costs. Then, for a minute there in mid-2025, it felt like we were getting a little break. Lumber prices started to come down. But then, bam. By the end of the year, manufacturers announced new price hikes. And just like that, we're back in uncertain territory. It is a constant roller coaster. And this is exactly why it's so volatile. It's never just one single thing. You've got global supply chains getting all tangled up. You've got the price of raw materials. And get this, the price of oil directly affects the cost of asphalt shingles. The price of steel, that hits metal roofing. Then you throw in labor shortages, crazy weather. A single big hurricane can literally make shingle prices jump across the whole country. It's a perfect storm of factors, no pun intended. Okay, so that's the big, messy, global picture. But how does all that stuff actually affect the choices you have to make for your house? Well, it all starts with the materials. This is where you get back in the driver's seat. For most of us, the choice really boils down to this: asphalt versus metal. It's the classic trade-off, right? Asphalt shingles are way easier on your wallet up front, but you're probably going to be replacing them in about 20 years. On the other hand, a metal roof. Yeah, that's a big upfront cost, but it could easily last you 50 years, maybe more. So, are you playing the short game or the long game? That's the real question. But of course, it's not just asphalt and metal. You've got a whole menu of options. This chart here gives you a really good snapshot of what you can expect to pay in 2025 for an average-sized roof. As you can see, asphalt shingles are your starting point, your most affordable way in. But once you start looking at things like metal or especially tile, whoa, that investment really starts to climb. The price range is just massive, which is why we're breaking all this down. So let's just focus on this number for a second. $7,000. Think of this as your starting line. This is pretty much the ballpark for getting a standard, professionally installed asphalt shingle roof. It's the baseline. Okay, now hold on to your hat. Contrast that baseline with this number, $50,000. And that could even be on the low end for a high-end tile roof on the very same house. Putting those two numbers right next to each other, it's just staggering. It really shows you the incredible range you're dealing with. All right, so let's say you've picked your material and you finally have that estimate in your hand. The next question is, what in the world are you actually paying for? It's time to crack that quote open and see where every single dollar is going. Any decent quote should be totally transparent. It shouldn't just be one big number. You should see the cost for the actual shingles or panels, right? That's the obvious part. But then there's the labor that's for tearing off the old roof and putting on the new one. And don't forget all the other critical stuff, like what if they find rotted wood decking underneath? That's a repair cost. Plus, you've got underlayment, flashing to keep water out, permits, and even just hauling away all the old junk. It all adds up. And this right here is maybe the most important piece of advice I can give you. If a contractor hands you a quote and it's just one number with no breakdown, run. Seriously, that is a huge red flag. You have every right to demand an itemized list so you know exactly what you're paying for. Don't settle for anything less. Okay, we've talked a lot about the why it's so expensive. Now for the best part, the how you can take back control of this whole process. This is your game plan, your homeowner playbook for making sure you get the absolute best value. Honestly, it really just comes down to 3 simple but super effective steps. First, get at least 3 written estimates. You absolutely have to do this to compare apples to apples.
Second, like we just said, demand that detailed line item breakdown. And third, here's a pro tip. If you can, try to schedule your roof replacement in the off season. When you're not in that mad rush after a big storm, prices are often much more competitive. Let me show you what this looks like in real life with two quick stories. First up, we've got homeowner A, the proactive planner. Their roof is getting old, they know its time is up, so they get it replaced before any problems start. The cost? A predictable $11,000. No surprises, job done. Now, meet homeowner B, the procrastinator. They saw a small leak but figured, I'll get to it later. Well, later turned into a huge mess. The new roof itself was $12,000, but they had to spend an extra $22,000 on fixing rotten wood and getting rid of mold. The final bill? A whopping $34,000. That massive difference in price, it all came down to one thing, didn't it? Timing. Being proactive is just smart, but waiting can turn a standard home repair into a catastrophic expense. When it comes to your roof, I'm telling you, timing is absolutely everything. So I'll leave you with this final thought. As you start looking at quotes and weighing your options, ask yourself this. Is this new roof just a painful expense you have to deal with? Or is it a critical investment in the health, safety, and value of your biggest asset, your home? How you answer that question? Well, that's the key to making a decision you'll feel good about for years to come.